Today we need to get into a viral clip recently that is resurfacing of Jung Kook boxing and what is going on with that. We also have a rumor that gets pretty wild and very insane about Jung Kook and a famous IT worker. And then we have a clip that V posted and people are going crazy over this clip and what it means. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide, hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Make sure you join us fangirling on Patreon and let's go. We need to get into a post that V made on Instagram. Not super recent, but pretty recent. He posted a picture of the members of TXT and basically says that they are family. Now, from the surface and people who don't know K-pop as much, they see this as sort of not a big deal, and it really isn't. However, sometimes things within the community get pretty big and people have a lot of things to say about it. First off, there is a controversial idea that people who are in the label Big Hit are secretly hating the CEO or secretly hating the company. And sure, that is a possibility that we can even entertain right now and talk about, because I'm sure if you sit there and love your corporate 9-to-5 job or whatever job that you have where you're working for a company, there are going to be things that you dislike about that company. That's just how things work. You're not always going to love every single aspect about that company, and in some cases, you're really going to hate that company, right? But it's extremely important to note that yes, the members of a label can hate the label itself, but it doesn't mean that the label is bad and that there's inherently a better label that would deal with things differently, because companies at the end of the day, they operate kind of in a similar way. Most companies are going to operate in sort of a bootstrap way because they don't want to overhire or spend too much on resources, and that is going to result in a lot of things kind of feeling outdated or not as great. However, Big Hit, they are one of the best known entertainment labels right now with their own medic team, as well as amazing food and apparently great benefits. And those benefits spread across not just the employees, but also to the artists that are assigned to the label. And the members of BTS have all actively always talked about how much they love their label. And if they didn't, I think people forget that they could just leave. They might not be able to leave right away as there's a contract there. However, they could leave once their contract gets up, which it has been. And they have chosen not to leave. Also, with the amount of money they have and with the amount of resources they have available, now the BTS members can literally just hire an amazing lawyer and get out of any contract, or just pay the contract fee, whatever it is, and they get out. But they don't do that because they don't want to. Now you have this image here where V posted this on his story calling Big Hit a family. And it was very controversial because a lot of people don't believe that Big Hit is very family-like, or at least not anymore. And they believed that for a while before V posted this, that the label actually hates V, or that V actually hates the label. And that is very interesting because we are finally seeing a post in which V has made it very clear that he still feels like the label and the label mates all feel like family. That's very important to note because there is no hatred there. And while a lot of people try to come at the label and try to come at the artists in the label, they are very quickly made aware the artists themselves actually love and support the label. And I hope that actually makes people realize that the label is not as bad as they think it is, because the artists are the ones that are actually in the label. And they're the ones that day to day are working and being in the company. So if there's any poor treatment, they would know first. Sometimes there's genuinely a lot of drama behind the scenes, but a lot of times there's really not that much going on, and it's never as exciting as we tend to think it is. Because I think a lot of times the media tends to sensationalize a lot of events, and so we tend to think that the life of someone that we are seeing on the news is probably a lot more interesting than it really is, filled with twists and turns and betrayal. I'm sure reality TV also plays a part in that. However, a lot of times it's really not that exciting, and the stuff that really happens behind the scenes is never that crazy, and it can't be that crazy, right? Because it's illegal to have certain crazy things happening, right? And of course, we will say that a lot of times when there's outrage and there's a lot of speculation going on, it's coming from a place of love, sort of. I mean, it is love, but it's coming from a place of anger too, because I think a lot of people want to look for something to be angry about because they want to take their anger out somewhere. So they want to make a big deal online about something, because in their real life, there's a lot of stuff going on they can't really control. So it becomes a really good outlet for people to kind of have some control over something online. Well, I think that's fine, and you can have whatever you want to have, but it's not okay to take it out on things like entertainment and then cost people their lives. But there's a whole other story that I'm not getting into today. Recently, it's been absolutely beautiful that we are seeing a lot of cute moments kind of resurface and recirculate. And I think people miss the BTS members so much that they're taking a lot of old moments and re-talking about them, which of course is bringing up a lot of controversy as well, because a lot of these moments tend to be moments that have had controversy the first time around, and then of course bringing it up again, it's going to have controversy again. However, one happy moment that I do want to highlight and talk about today was Jung Kook boxing and learning how to box. People have taken these moments where he first started boxing and compared it to moments of the last time we saw him box, basically say that he's come such a long way. Now this is interesting because while people see him do this, people still like to infantilize him and say that he is a baby and that he is so cute and harmless. And while he would never hurt anyone, he is not someone who is harmless. He is not someone, if someone were to come up to him and attack him, he would not be able to defend himself. In fact, quite the contrary. As you can see from these videos, he very much would be able to defend himself, and he can actually fight very well. So for those who are scared and worried that he is going to get hurt by a stalker or whoever that is coming for him, anyone that may be coming anywhere near him is going to get punched and socked really, really hard. They're going to regret ever getting near Jung Kook to attempt to hurt him. And when Jung Kook talks about these stalkers and these people that come after him, he's not talking about it in a way where he feels helpless and scared. Well, I'm sure he is scared. I think he's talking about it in a way to ask people to stop because it's creepy, not that he's scared necessarily for his life. I think that he is trying to ask people to not do those things and that it should be common sense to normalize these things, because as celebrities don't talk about it, these things can become normalized. I mean, a long time ago, celebrities never even talked about when fans would show up to their house, and it was just kind of seen as a normal thing to do that. I mean, people would literally go on tours, like bus tours, to see celebrities' homes. Like if you think about that now, you think about how crazy that is. But that was because no one talked about how these celebrities are human beings and that their house shouldn't be available for the public to see. There's always been this really crazy theory going on where it's just stupid theories and it's made up by someone who allegedly wants to make Jung Kook look really, really bad. People like this come out of the woodworks when they realize that there's really nothing that they can attack Jung Kook for, or these people feel betrayed that Jung Kook betrayed them. There was a post going on online where one particular crazy fan talked about how Jung Kook lied about being at home during when he was taking a break, and that in reality, Jung Kook was actually out and dating, and they're saying that this is a betrayal to the fans because he's lying. First of all, I don't think that this would be a betrayal of the fans if he's lying. Like, I don't think that that is what this fan is upset about. I think the fan is more upset about the fact that he has chosen to have his own life and not tell other people about it. And by the way, no one is entitled to know what he is doing on his off time. If he decides to share that he is being at home during his live stream, and even if that is a lie, that is his decision to do that. There's reasons to do that. There's safety, there's a career on the line, there's so many reasons to do that, and to assume that this is your bestie and he's lying about something and thus betraying you is absolutely delusional. The fan goes on to talk about how allegedly Jung Kook had met up with a special type of worker, one that engages in promiscuous activities, and then goes on to say that this particular worker was really famous in Korea and people had seen them together. This was coupled by evidence and alleged evidence of Jung Kook at his apartment, of Jung Kook with his quote-unquote blonde girlfriend, all this to prove that he actually was not alone during his break. He was actually with a woman. Then goes on to make wild claims like he had 3 girlfriends in a month, and thus the fans cannot support him anymore. Okay, even if that was true and he did have 3 girlfriends in a month, what is that to you? You do not own his life. He doesn't owe you an explanation. He doesn't even know your name. Why does it matter whether you know who he's dated or why he's dating 3 people in a month? These claims go even further to talk about how he's making the BTS group look really bad. And I don't know how it would make the group look bad. It would make the group look like they're grown up. It would make adults actually feel like, oh, that's a group that I can relate to. And it's not just a group that is scared of women, because if they talk to a woman, their entire career might be over. So I think this is very interesting, but I hope you realize, other people realize, that this is obviously not real and nothing like this has ever happened. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.